Today, September 17th, 2025, I am celebrating 1 year free of mental health medications, and I am so freaking proud of myself. This has been a long time coming. I started mental health medications as a teenager. Around age 15, I started struggling with depression, anxiety, and thoughts of wanting to unalive myself. I went through a year of being put on and off of all kinds of medications, attempts at unaliving myself, and being in and out of the mental hospital. It was a huge struggle. At the end of that year, my dad requested that I be taken off of all of my medications, and the doctors followed his request. I was slowly able to get back to being myself, but something stuck with me, a trauma response that I subconsciously adopted during that time period, and that was to stop eating anytime I was feeling anxious or immense pain inside. As an adult, I got married and started having children at a young age. Once I started having kids, anxiety started creeping back into my life. I talked with my doctor and started taking anti-anxiety medication. There were moments in my adult life that I would feel extremely anxious, and I noticed that anytime that happened, I didn't feel hungry. At one point, around age 25, I lost so much weight that my doctor told me I was underweight and needed to gain weight to be healthy. I ended up changing the situation in my life that was stressing me out at the time, and then was able to eat again and didn't think anything of it. When I was 34 years old, I started having a spiritual awakening. I realized through reading books, watching documentaries, and following spiritual people on social media that there was another way to live and be. I realized that I could change my subconscious programming and that I could heal myself and be free of anxiety and medications. I did great for the first year and even got off of my medications. But at the end of the summer of 2021, anxiety had crept back into my life full force. I tried going back on my medication, but it was too late. My body was in complete fight or flight mode, and trauma programming from my teenage years had taken over. I could not physically eat for 10 days straight and reached a body weight of around 103 pounds. For reference, my normal weight is around 125 pounds. Anytime I tried to eat food, my body would purge. I could not physically keep anything down. I was so scared and didn't know what to do. As time went on during the 10 days of not being able to eat, my thoughts became extremely negative, and I started having thoughts of wanting to unalive myself. I went to my husband in tears and told him that I needed help and checked myself into the behavioral health unit at the hospital. I was able to get help and support there and begin to feel safe enough in my body to eat again. Over the next year after that hospitalization, I thrived. I was super happy and did amazing things. I even went off of my medication again and kept thriving. Then, in the summer of 2022, my severe anxiety was triggered again, and my body went back into fight or flight mode. I stopped being able to eat, and my fear became so strong. I started having thoughts of unaliving myself again and voluntarily checked myself into the hospital and went back on medications. After my 2022 hospitalization, I found a therapist nearby that specialized in internal family systems and somatic experiencing. These are both therapy modalities that help people heal from trauma. I worked with that therapist for 2 years and ebbed and flowed with anxiety and unaliving thoughts over that 2-year period of time, but did not have to go back to the hospital. I learned how to be with my feelings, notice thoughts, and let them pass, create safety in my body, and relate to all the parts of me in a loving way, including the part of me that didn't want to be alive. I learned how to truly love myself unconditionally and hold myself through any kind of situation. Last year, on September 17th, 2024, I decided to go off of all of my medications cold turkey, and I didn't tell anyone. For the record, I do not recommend anyone doing this. At the time, I felt like I had exhausted my family, putting them through the ringer of the hospital multiple times, and I knew they wouldn't want me to go off of my meds. But I knew in my heart of hearts that I could do it, and I knew I was ready. This past year, I have completely blossomed. I have found my strength and courage, but more importantly, I have found how to truly love myself and be safe in my body at all times. I no longer label feelings, but call them energy. I know that anxiety is just energy wanting to be felt and released, and I am safe in my body to do that. I am so proud of myself. I knew I could free myself of mental health medication, and I did it. I am sharing this message today to let you know that there is another way, but it isn't easy. You will have to face all of your demons head on. I believe the only way out is through all the pain, through all of the feelings and energy. But in my opinion, it's worth it. Now, I am not bashing mental health medications. They helped me tremendously when I didn't have the capacity in my body to feel safe. And I will forever be grateful for the help they provided me. I also think it is completely fine to choose a life of being on mental health medication. It's all a choice and a human experience you can have. If this video has spoken to you and you want to learn more about how I've changed my life, check out my TikTok page and follow for more videos like this. If you are struggling with thoughts of unaliving yourself, please ask for help. Call 988 for the Unaliving and Crisis Hotline. Your life is so valuable and help is out there.